Alright, let's get started. Okay, my EFO, my mid-year economic and feeling that since Amazon is here, JB Hi-Fi and all these other Harvey Normans and other guys are gonna be out of business pretty soon. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, I don't get it. I am not someone who follows Pokemon, so probably funny to some people. I don't like to keep a lot of tabs open, so let's close that. Suspended Queensland Chief Scientist Suzanne Miller charged with 31 more fraud offences. Huh. It's not usual when you hear the scientists folks getting involved in this fraud and financial mismanagement. Let's see what you end up doing. Suspended Queensland Chief Scientist Suzanne Miller has been charged with 31 additional fraud offences, okay, with corruption authorities alleging she spent more than $30,000 on a government corporate credit card for personal items. I mean, that's bad, but it's nowhere on the scale that we see the financial industry folks do sort of stuff. These are the additional charges. What did she initially do? Did it say that anywhere? Between Feb 1, 2014 and July 24, 2017, Miller also dishonestly gained approximately $45,000 in benefit for herself using private health insurance of the Queensland Museum. Dishonestly gained? What does that mean? Like, she spent the money, or she used the insurance offered by Queensland Museum? Not sure. Is also facing a charge of uttering relating to alleged use of forged immigration letter. Okay, well, all sorts of shit. It seems like she was involved in. Bail condition. Well, is this in UK or it looks like Queensland? Yeah, it's in Australia. It's also Miller had to surrender her UK and Australian passports. Okay. Alright, that's that. Hidden pollution data finally released and it's not good. Well, yeah, that sounds consistent with what we hear almost everywhere in the world. Pollution is really bad, climate change. Things are not gonna go well in near future. Who's set for price hike to tackle binge drinking? Is that a good idea? Huh. You probably have end up people losing more money and still getting drunk. Who's set to price hike? How much are they increasing it by? Let's see. As it is, it's quite pricey when compared to US or elsewhere. Alcohol here in Australia. could be skyrocket. Okay, price of alcohol could be set to skyrocket with the government looking at fresh ways to curb the growing trend of binge drinking. Why do they care? I mean the government. The draft plan could prevent the cost of all alcoholic drink from dropping below set prices, with those in industry expecting a base price of $1.50 per standard drink. They expect this would translate into a jump in the cost of South Australia's most popular drink, a slab of Victoria Bitter, rising from 47 to 50. Well, that's steep. And a bottle of yellow would go from 7 to 10. Well, that's not good. While these price increases aren't too extreme, Golden Oak Dry White Wine, which is around 30, standard drinks could be set to jump from 10 to 45. Wow. Golden Oak Dry White Wine. Is that a brand of white wine? Golden Oak Dry White Wine. Okay, Golden Oak White Wine. Oh, it's one of those wines you get in the box, wine in a box thing. Generally here, it's not a good wine if it comes in a box, but it's also possible it's the conventional bottling companies spreading that so that their brand is protected, and these are upcoming upstart folks who wanna undercut the bottling people with some of the packaging price and whatnot. That's just me guessing and being cynical. Alright, that's just a brand. Let's not worry about that. Okay. Barnaby Joyce's revenge backfires on Malcolm Turnbull. I think he's out of the government now, Barnaby Joyce. I don't know much about him. I know he was he had the same issue that a lot of politicians have in Australia, which is dual citizenship. I think, I recall. Let's see. Turnbull governments recently restored parliamentary majorities again in the threat. Well, I'm not going to read all of this. This is really dry stuff. It's a mess, and it's going to turn into an even bigger mess. I think that sums it up. It's a mess, and it's going to turn into an even bigger mess. I mean, it's not looking very good. Huh. I think Barnaby Joyce is out, and he's probably like leaking some information or making statements that undercut Malcolm Turnbull. As you can tell, I don't have it in me to read the full article, but I'm just gonna go with that. I'm gonna give it a few more seconds to see if that validates my theory. He would only say he would continue to serve as elector in the Bundaberg-based seat of Hinkler. Not in what capacity? Mr. Joyce had a threat. That's the question for people. What are they talking about? Alright, let's take it from the top again. Turnbull governments recently restored parliamentary majorities again in the threat, with National MP Keith Pitt considering joining the crossbench following a ministerial reshuffle in which he and Infra Minister Darren Chester were dumped by Barnaby Joyce. I don't know, man. This is just some internal backbiting, literally political stuff. Let's not worry about that. A bigger, better public sector will secure our future. Yeah, maybe. It's so. The father of a teenager who died doing work for the dole says his son was made to work with a back injury. Huh. Let's see some BuzzFeed. They're not too reliable, but they don't lie usually. BuzzFeed. They have a tendency to exaggerate things and kind of take a specific angle on things. Well, who doesn't? The father of a teenager who died doing work for the dole. Dole? Is that how you say it? Dole, Department of Labor and Employment. That's in Philippines though. Let's see. Is that the same here? Work for Dole. is an Australian federal government program that is a form of work-based welfare. Oh, okay, I get it. They give some work for folks and pay them probably minimum salary per hour. It is one means by which job seeker can satisfy their mutual obligation requirement. To be able to qualify for the unemployment benefit, you gotta do some of the work for the dole thing. And it looks like, let's see, father of a teenager. Hey, hi mate, how are you doing? Alright, and you? Yes, good. Work for dole is shit. Hit wrong button. Working for dole is shit because they overwork you, and if you hurt your back, they say they're not filing out any paperwork. I'm guessing dole is the government here. Okay, so Josh Park Fing ended up dying on a work site for dole. Says text message exchange with his son hour before Park Fing's death show the young man was injured yet made to continue working in the program. Do they have like any medical report on Josh Park Fing? I mean, this is something, but this is not definitive. 18-year-old Park Fing died from head injuries sustained when he fell from a flatbed trailer being towed by a tractor in April 2016. It's suspected the tractor slipped a gear and jolted, causing the teen to fall. Okay. At the time he was completing a work for the dole program at the Toowoomba Showgrounds screened by employment contractor Nieto. Okay. In a text message, we read the text message. Park claimed his son was not allowed to fill out injury paperwork or take a day off sick. That's unfortunate. But it seems like he ended up dying in an accident while sustaining an injury. So, in a way, his dad is probably right that if he was allowed to take a day off, he probably wouldn't be there, so this wouldn't happen. Mr. is still refusing to release those measures publicly. Okay. This is Josh and his mom Jenny. Oh, that's tragic. What do they end it with? A Department of Employment spokesperson told BuzzFeed News in a statement, death of Mr. Joshua Park Fing was a tragic event. Work health and safety is a priority for the work of the dole program. Okay, that's a vanilla generic statement. Job active providers and work for the dole coordinator must undertake risk assessment each work for dole activity. These risk assessment must be reviewed. That's just a lawyer speak. It's a disgrace. It's disgraceful that Josh's family have been waiting so long to find out what really happened to him on that site and why. Yeah. Who's this guy? AUWU Vice President Ion Klaus. That's how you say it. How many folks are sustaining these injuries? In 2015-16, there were 500 injuries sustained out of almost 100,000 participants in the work for dole program, including the death of Park Fing. Is that high? Is that low? Well, in compared to that kind of work, in that line of work? Huh. Of all the complaints made to AUW National Safety Hotline, 30% were to report safety issues on the work for the dole sites. Okay. It seems like there is some issue with the dole sites. They're just not paying attention to the safety of the workers. Okay, let's move along, see what's going on. Tesla big battery outsmarts lumbering coal units after low yang trips. Yeah, the thing is, I mean, it's green energy, that's all well and good. And the coal lobby everywhere in the world, it's not helping anyone except themselves. But I think going with Tesla may have different kinds of problem down the lane, that they're private organization, and I think utilities are better off left with in the public sector. That's just my view. Peter Dutton's department is routinely delaying information requests from journalists and MPs. What is this guy? Peter Dutton. Well, I'm just gonna see what's his designation. Let's see. He is. Oh my god. Let's see what he says in his Twitter bio. Federal member for Dixon and Minister for Immigration and Border Protection. Okay, he's probably the one making decisions for the Manu Island situation. Not good. Okay, I'm not gonna read anything. Oh wait, what did Pamela Anderson say about Peter Dutton? If that's how you say his name. I really have no idea. I should know that. So Pamela Anderson calls out on Peter Dutton to investigate animal cruelty on Manu's Island. Okay. She's a PETA advocate, and I'm sure somebody is calling Peter Dutton to investigate cruelty against humans also. That's what I keep hearing. The conditions on Manu Island are really bad. Manu's Island? Huh. Okay. I heard they struck a deal with someone. Oh, maybe with the US, that crazy guy, Mr. Trump. You cannot depend on that. Turnwell claims Uluru's statement was a take it or leave it offer on indigenous recognition. Okay, he doesn't care about that. Get it? Neal Erikson, far-right activist faces contempt of court charges after failing to return toll uniform. Toll uniform? What is going on here? Neal Erikson, this guy on the left, told the court he had discarded the uniforms. What uniform? Toll uniform? Was he a toll booth worker? What's going on? He has defied a court order requiring him to return his uniforms to his former employer, Freight Company Toll. Okay. Sparking a call for him to be charged with contempt of court. Okay. He has been wearing the uniform in videos containing controversial rants posted to social media and during well-publicized incidents, including when he ambushed former Senator Sam Dastyari in a Melbourne pub, despite being sacked by the company last May. Okay, so I think this is Sam and this is this guy. No, do I have it the other way around? Not sure. This yellow shirt is what they're talking about. It's pretty obvious to me that you are pretty close, and I have an exhibit where a person who look awfully like him, you know, the heralds on front page, Mr. Turner hoeing into someone in a toll uniform. Hoeing? That's a funny word. Hoeing. Let's see what it means. I think I know what it means. Yeah, hoeing it up. I'm gonna go with the Urban Dictionary definition for this. Sleeping around, okay. Not having respect for themselves and throwing themselves out there, huh? I do not think that's what they meant. I think what they meant was digging around, maybe. Anyhow. Right, let's see what they end of this with. Mr. Erikson told the court he would immediately rectify other alleged breaches of court's order, including by deleting a video he published to YouTube of the incident, including Mr. Dastyari. So he's just not giving their shirt back, for whatever reason. Okay. It's more of a corporate thing, I guess. It looks bad for the company. Somebody's wearing their shirt and saying all kind of hateful stuff. Cabinet reshuffle happened today. Not interested. Okay, more interested in what they end up doing. Oh, people who are familiar with the Late Show, I hope I'm not. Revealed minister failed to release gambling harm report despite advice. Okay. Australia's escalating addiction to gambling. Yeah, I'm new to Australia, but I see these gambling joints almost everywhere at every major intersection. I think they're called tab, something like that. Sports gambling and other gambling. They are the machines that anti-gambling campaigners in Australia say have addictive force of cocaine that are fueling an avalanche of debt, divorce, and misery. Slot machines, known as poker machines or pokies, common in Australian pubs. Gambling in Australia is the equivalent of guns in America. Not really. I mean, you can harm a lot of people with guns around you. You probably end up harming yourself, your life, your family's life with gambling. So it's not equivalent. You can say it's for each country it has maybe the same priority, and gambling is the highest priority for Australia, and just like gun control is for US. Gambling industry has captured politics really in the way the NRA does in America, so we aim to reform that. Okay, who's saying that? Tim Costello, Alliance for Gambling Reform. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of gambling joints almost in every big intersection. Australia has 20% of world's poker machine, known colloquially as the pokies. In Western Australia, they are confined to a single casino, but they are common elsewhere. I'm in Victoria, near Melbourne, and they are common everywhere. Mr. Costello believes gambling stress pushes more than 400 Australians to suicide every year, a figure that has been given credence by Australia's Productivity Commission. Okay. Built for addiction, releasing the dopamine that hits your brain with force of cocaine. Yeah. Okay, that's true, but that's also true for so many other things. Addicts, he tells the BBC, describe entering a zone where the problem simply dematerializes. It completely neutralizes the anxiety. Oh, it's like an escape route, and again, there are so many of them for different people. Australia has more slot machines per person than almost any other country. It has nearly 200,000 in total. That is true. Like the 20% of world's poker machine versus Australia's population does mean they have a really high ratio of slot machines per person. For many gamblers, the machines are just a bit of harmless fun, enjoy with a beer and banter. But for others, they're flashing lights, spinning wheels. Oh, okay. So how do they intend to reform it? What are they saying about that? I mean, of course, you can find a lot of stories where people have lost their money. It's really difficult. It's a big challenge for them. They're addicts to gambling. Highest losses in the world. Okay. Next year, National Self-Exclusion Register is due to start to allow problem gamblers to effectively ban themselves from all online gambling sites and apps. Okay, that is the equivalent of like going cold turkey, and I don't know how they would do that. Maybe they would like submit some sort of form with their ID, and maybe you need to link your ID to online gambling. That's what I think will happen. The spokeswoman for Responsible Wagering Australia, an industry body representing online operators including Bet365, Betfair, Ladbrokes, that's a funny name, like it says that right there in the name. You will go pro, lads, go there. Said the measure would help protect vulnerable members of the community. Okay, that's one thing, right? Self-exclusion register. I I'm thinking it has a possibility of working for people who will sign up. Okay. 200,000 Australians have high-level problem with gambling, while up to twice as many more have difficulty at a lower level. There's a ripple effect where, okay. Anything else they're proposing to fix this? Millions of Australians are directly affected by gambling. Yeah, we got that. Australians spend a lot of money, $1,300 per capita a year. The next highest is around 600 in Singapore. We far exceed any other country on earth, and the reason for that is because we have so many gambling opportunities. We had a big bang deregulation in early 90s. Gambling really took off, and it hasn't really looked back. My take on that is, like, I mean, you certainly can't ban it to the effect that nobody can do gambling. You shouldn't. That's not the right thing to do. You're suppressing something that people want to do. But I think certainly they can reduce it to the extent that it's not visible on every intersection. So the trigger, so for people who are trying to discipline themselves and kind of having withdrawals, it's not a trigger at every intersection. I don't know how they'll do it. The self-exclusion register has a possibility of working, but also I think for people who lose a lot of money, and maybe it already exists, some sort of rehab situation where you kind of make them aware of the financial realities and maybe divert their energy and escapism in a different direction. And maybe it exists already, but I didn't get the sense from this article that exists anywhere. But let's find out. Rehab for gambling Australia. Gambling addiction treatment centers in Sydney. So they do exist. The only thing is, are they supported by government or not? Because if it is privately run, for a person who's already losing a lot of money, don't have a lot of money left, they're probably not going to go and spend more money at the rehab, which I'm sure are not cheap. But let's see. Well, I guess we'll learn more. Okay, let's see what else. Again, the Barnaby Joyce guy says cabinet reshuffle causing upset is hardly a remarkable statement. Just bitching about his previous workplace where he used to work. Massive hailstorm hit 10 minutes Australia, and that would just mean like lower wages, lower protection, and things like that. Total guesswork. Maybe somebody can point me to information where item for today. Energy Australia nailing energy customers and taxpayers to boot. Energy is expensive here in Australia when compared to other countries. That's the story for another day. Apple Store for Melbourne and Federation Square. Australian arrested with 19.97 grams of crystal meth says it's ridiculous. What is ridiculous? That they caught you? An Australian facing drug charges had plenty to say after his arrest at Bali's main airport and was later rushed to a police hospital suffering what his lawyer said was shock. Okay. 35-year-old guy, CA, Isaac, landed in Bali with almost 20 kgs of crystal meth. His lawyer says he suffered from depression, no suicide risk. Jesus, what is that? Okay. It may be done as a deterrent effect for possible future offenders. What are they doing? They're not proposing to kill him, are they? The arrest occurred earlier this month. Details were kept secret until today when officials announced the bust in a media conference. Footage from conference shows Mr. Roberts wearing a black balaclava over his head and bright orange prisoner shirt and shoes. That's not a good look at all. I mean, that's usually what you see at the start of the ISIS videos. That's not something you would want to project to the outer world, but that's okay, all good. Center for Indonesian Law, Islam and Society. Okay. They're gonna go all religious on him, it seems like. Blah blah blah. Very common in Indonesia for many offenses, not just drug offenses. The theatrics surrounding the arrest. Okay. It may be done as a deterrent effect for possible future offenders. Okay. Media is sometimes invited but not always. In this case, obviously, they want to make a show of it. 2 other foreigners paraded in front of media are reported to be from Malaysia and US. I just hope they don't end up issuing a decree to kill him or something, because some of these countries have that. Blah blah blah. Mr. Roberts' crime was punishable by maximum death penalty. There you go. Life sentence or minimum 5 years and maximum 20 years. Huh. Okay. I really hope they don't kill him. As he was escorted out of the conference, Roberts said to the media he had been invited to this country by someone who was working with a customs officer. They knew I was going to bring something. I'm just a effing addict. They want to waste resources on addicts. They want to punish addicts. This is ridiculous. What about the effing importers? I wasn't going to... Oh my god, so many ads. Go away. Where were we? They want to waste resources on addicts. They want to punish addicts. This is ridiculous. What about the effing importers? I wasn't going to sell it to anyone here. No one was going to use it here. This is ridiculous. This is an embarrassment. But you have 20 kgs of it, right? I'm guessing for personal use you will only need a few grams. For sure not 20 kgs. So you're definitely in the importer bucket than the user bucket, Mr. whatever your name is, Isaac. Offering to buy, sell, or be an intermediary in the purchase, sale, or trade of more than 5 grams of Group 1 narcotics, including amphetamines, can incur 5 to 20 years in prison or the death penalty. Importing, exporting, or distributing narcos also contains similar penalties, blah blah blah. She was unsure at this point. Robert was likely to be sentenced to death penalty, found guilty. Okay. I'm guessing the Australian government, ambassador, whomsoever, get some kind of deal and get this guy off of the death roll and put him into some sort of like whatever 5-10 year thing. His argument clearly doesn't stick because he may be an addict, but he seems like also an importer for 20 kgs, so a lot of meth. So I mean, since he's an importer, I may be wrong. They may end up giving him that sentence to make kind of like a message to everyone else who's visiting Indonesia, and also as they say, for future deterrence. Don't know. Let's see. My prediction is they're not gonna. Well, let me figure out what my prediction is. My prediction is this guy's gonna get like 10-15 years, and then they're gonna let him go. Okay, that's that, and I guess that's it for today. Okay, cool.